REvil, the hacking conglomerate we've talked about several times, the ongoing saga of Kaseya on this not so critical update.
So yeah, REvil, the as you put it, that was really nicely put. The ransomware giant have started. The dominoes have started falling, and it's not looking too good for these guys. Basically, we heard recently that they arrested a member. He was an associate. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a picture of him. He is, I believe, Ukrainian. He was found in Poland, is currently under arrest, and is awaiting extradition to the United States. Now, very soon after this, a second member of REvil was also arrested in Serbia. Now, and I believe a reward of 6 million, or no, sorry, they retrieved $6 million from, I assume, from these guys or from the servers that the joint group, I think it was the FBI and Interpol and a couple others, that they took down. Either way, no, whatever it was, they retrieved, confiscated $6 million in illicit, I believe it was crypto, whatever, in money, and have now put out a bounty of $10 million for leaders of REvil and $5 million for any associate. This is good. This is good news. This is showing us that the United States government, the European governments are taking this. They're taking this seriously. They're sick of ransomware, and we're all with them. No, this is kind of it feels almost like an overdone joke or bit. Like I am sick of um, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of reading about ransomware and crypto lockers. Let's move on to I've said this before on the show. I think it's a cheap cop out of a hack. You're not doing anything cool at all, and I'm bored. Let me read about a group of people going to the US Senate saying they're going to take down the internet in 30 minutes. That's cool. Like that's or to the Congress, not the US Senate. Anyway, so that's the current story on REvil Kaseya saga. I imagine there'll be a lot more with how it's moving and going. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for REvil. They're done for. What are you guys'
How,
thoughts?
how do you feel about this, Mike?
Well, we have talked about this particular story several times. And this,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember, we talked about it very shortly after it broke. We talked about it the next week because and I think this is when we started talking about the steps of data breach acceptance, 5 stages of the data breach. I think then it was 7. Maybe we refined the list a little bit, but denial,
Yeah.
anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. You shared this again today, Peter. I feel like we were maybe now in the beat a dead horse stage, so maybe a 6th
Yeah,
stage. But I will
definitely.
say this is I like talking about this part of the story, not just we were hacked, we're going to lie about it, we did or didn't pay the ransom, and then we never talk about it again, and then we get breached again. Now that there's some consequences, like this is kind of, now I'm into it. Like you said, John, it's nice to see that people are finally like, I mean, everybody's
Yeah,
been upset about it, but like actually doing something that's working.
right.
Love it.
What's the date on that article? When was that? When did the FBI? It was like a couple of days ago, right? It was the 8th.
November 8th was the date of the article.
Oh wow, we're not supposed to mention dates here, right? Because we're daily. I forgot. Sorry.
So
Yeah,
this was 2 days ago as we're recording it.
as we were putting it
From
right.
our
So
recording. Yeah.
yesterday, day after this was recorded, Kaseya. Sorry, not Kaseya. Jeez, I'm getting mixed up. So we're just blurring into one big like
One long
boring
day.
hack.
Yeah.
Yeah. The REvil domain is back online.
Whoa.
And there's a message on there that says, they are not the masters they think they are. We have the skills and experience. And do you want to be with the most qualified or losers? And it looks like it's a defacement apparently. So there was I would follow the Twitter account 3X Underground, which is a cool open source thing that they collect malware samples, and they posted something about this. So yeah.
Whoa.
There is a timeline because we had talked about it several times. And I thought this was really interesting to go back and kind of go through the whole thing because at different stages we had looked at it. Things changed over time. This is going back to July 2nd was when the first story was first broken. I think it was broken by Huntress Labs. Is that right? Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe.
They were
to find the hack, it was several days of obfuscation and confusion and who's doing what. It turned out Kaseya finally came out and said I think it was 40 of their customers were impacted, but their customers were largely MSPs who had probably, many of them their customers. And later in this article, it says they talk about the ransom because one of the things that came up is Kaseya got the decryption key, but they claimed that they hadn't paid the ransom. And our speculation was that either somebody paid it on their behalf or they did pay it and were just lying about it. In this timeline article, they do break down, though, that I guess some of the clients were buying the decryption keys and the hackers, REvil, said that they accidentally released a universal decryption key because they were issuing between 20 and 500 individual decryption keys per client. So that gives you some sense of the scope of this. Like, yes, it was 40 Kaseya clients, but each of those MSPs had their clients that ranged from 20 to 500 users per site. So I don't know if this gets to millions, but it's a big number. But it turns out Kaseya,
millions is not
maybe possibly not quite as big as I thought, but a lot of people. I mean, so 40 times, however many times, between 20 and 500. Then Kaseya was taken off, or I'm sorry, REvil was taken offline. This story that we just talked about appears to then have happened after that. But I'm sure the investigation was ongoing. This timeline was really interesting, though. I'll share a link to the timeline in the comments. But I thought this timeline
it's just one of the hacks. Just one hack that they've done. It was like the kind of one of the biggest. We had the biggest. What do you call it? The most noise about it. But REvil are a big hacking group, and they were previously known as GamCrab, and the malware they were using has changed names. They've been around for years and done a lot of damage. This is it's kind of crazy, but it's on. They're fighting back.
Right.
I tell you what, though, when I was 16 and I heard of hacking for the first time, or 14, or how old I was, it was kind of a life goal to be 22 years old and have a $10 million bounty on my head. That would have been so cool at the time. This guy's 22. He looks like I'm sorry, mate, if you're watching, but you look at him about. Grow some chin hair or something. Glue it on. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like I don't remember if it was this guy, if it was the other guy. He posted, or it was on the Russian equivalent of Facebook. I think it's called VK. It might have been VK.ru. On his profile, his phone number was the FBI's anonymous tip hotline. So clearly, these kids don't give a shit, and they have that hacker mentality of like, fuck you, anarchy. But also, as the article states, Krebs really goes on to shit on them, and he says like their operational security was obscene, non-existent, which happens often because they were using 10-year-old accounts, and they're both in their early 20s. They were kids when they started their online personas or whatever you want to call them, handles. Like these are and were kids that are doing.
Well, I think the fact that they accidentally gave out the master decryption
Says a
key
lot, right? It
says a lot about
Yeah,
their kind of attention
If
to
you're
detail. It
managing
feels like
hundreds of thousands
Sorry,
of infected computers, it's probably easy to keep track. Easy to lose track. They need some
For
good
sure.
support management
If-
software.
And you know what? We're to as I wrote in our note, it's like, well, these are, there's just a couple of script kiddies getting caught again, but like we have to give credit to these guys that they attacked successfully. They attacked some of the largest companies in the tech sector. Some governments, some successfully. What does that say about them? Right? What does that say about the governments and the companies and all of the people, or I guess all of the companies and entities that were successfully breached? That's on you. You let a couple of kids, you let some kids, a group of kids, do this. This is it's meant to happen. Someone's gonna do it. Yeah. So.
And it's no surprise to anyone.
No.
That these vulnerabilities exist. Everybody knows.
No.
If there's good news, though, I think it's that people are. It feels like the environment is changing. People really are starting to take these threats more seriously. A couple months ago, we talked about the Colonial Pipeline hack, and more recently the Port of Houston hack. And my sense even then was that, well, now that they're attacking things that cost the government money, or actually affect people's lives, then everybody starts. But I think it's even deeper than that. I think culturally we are starting to come to terms with what some of these cyber threats are, and what they mean, and how to start to address them. I mean, if nothing else, from a law enforcement standpoint, it's good to see the FBI is getting better at that.
I don't think that glamour of coolness is ever going to go away, though. Not entirely. Because it's like because they're doing real crimes, they're stealing actual money from people. It's very bad. But this kind of like cheeky young lad, screwing the system kind of thing is still gonna. Yeah, it's still gonna be. I mean, we still make movies about like.
What is it? Silverfish? What's the hacking movie? It's not Silverfish.
Swordfish.
There we go. Yeah.
It has 6 monitors. Yeah. Or Octa something. I'll never forget it. Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Let me do my hacker impression.
Oh, you got it? Where's my
the standard stock photo?
Too.
Just turn off the lights and be in a hoodie in front of your computer.
Turn off the lights. He has a MacBook, by the way, always.
That's product placement. See, that's classic, right? The fact that Apple paid for product placement in a hacker movie to have their cool machine as the hacker hardware is like they see the value of it.
Just go look at Mr. Robot. It doesn't get any cooler. And when Elliot is hacking away, just doing his thing, it's like 14-year-old me. That's my wet dream right there.
Yeah.
Is fuck everything, anarchy, burn it all. And to me, that was crazy cool. I also don't like crime, so
yeah, I'm a rule follower.
Yeah? Who's your favorite criminal?
What?
I don't know, man. You're a real follower of the criminal.
No, a rule follower.
He follows the rules.
I thought you said you were a real follower. I was thinking, like,
I love criminals.
Go REvil.
Go crime.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for REvil.